May salang tiradyo sa Pilipinas. Usalangbay ang radyo. DZRH Nationwide at Radyo Natin Network ng Manila Broadcasting Company. Sa Pilipinas, iisa lang ang radyo.
Manila Broadcasting Company.
Dibisyon ng Biliran Alternative Learning System kasama ang buong kagawaran ng edukasyon at kaagapay ang pamahalaan ng probinsya ng Biliran ay buong pusong inihahandog ang programang pangradyo na pinamagatang Als Radyo Eskwela. Ito ay inyong mapapakinggan tuwing Lunes at Biyernes sa ganap na alas 11 hanggang alas 11:30 ng umaga dito lamang sa 103.9 Radyo Natin FM. Walang makahahadlang, walang maiiwan sa Alternative Learning System. Tiyak na may pag-asa, sama-samang lilipad para maabot ang pangarap sa hamong kinakaharap. Patuloy na aangat, edukasyon para sa lahat, sulong edukalidad. Ito ang DepEd Als Radyo Eskwela ng Dibisyon ng Biliran.
Good morning, Biliran! Good morning, dear listeners and followers of Biliran Division Alternative Learning System School on Air. I am Sir Art Virana, one of your hosts for today's episode of Als Radyo Eskwela. We are now broadcasting live on 103.9 Radyo Natin FM, and you can also watch us live on the Facebook page of 103.9 Radyo Natin FM Naval Biliran. My co-pilot for today's episode is also an ALS implementer from Maripipi District, Ma'am Raquel Butastas. Hello, Ma'am Raquel. Good morning.
Good morning too, Sir Art. To our dear listeners, especially our ALS learners and our co-ALS implementers, good morning. I am glad to be here with you today, Sir Art, for another enjoyable and informative discussion. To our dear learners, prepare your notebook and ballpen and be ready to take note important details while we are discussing. Make sure that you are in a comfortable place, ready your mind and open your ears, and we're ready to go.
That is right, Ma'am Raquel. For today's episode, we are going to talk on a very timely topic. Nowadays, accessing information from different multimedia outlets is very common. Because of the pandemic, people are required to stay at home, no classes, works are almost done at home, business are done online, so the social media or the internet becomes the number one source of information and communication. People become digitally inclined, relying mostly of their works on cell phones, laptops, and other digital technologies. This morning, we will be discussing the ways on how to detect risks online, for example, cyberbullying, grooming, radicalization, problematic contents like violation and obscenity, and how we can do to avoid and limit these risks. Again, we will be discussing the ways and how to detect risks online, for example, cyberbullying, grooming, radicalization, and problematic contents like violation and obscenity, and how we can do to avoid and limit these risks. Are you still with me? Alright!
That is right, Sir Art. But before we start our discussion, let us first read the question for our Tanong Ko, Sagot Mo. Reminder to our learners, listeners, and followers, the first person to text or comment the correct answer will be given 50 pesos worth of load sponsored by Dr. Gerardo C. Paghid, PSDS of Kawayan District 1. Thank you so much for the load, Sir Paghid.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Paghid. And now, here is our question for our Tanong Ko, Sagot Mo.
What do you call a peer-to-peer violence that can affect young people each time they log in to social media or instant messaging platforms? Again, what do you call a peer-to-peer violence that can affect young people each time they log in to social media or instant messaging platforms?
Text your name, address, and correct answers to 0935-834-9354. Again, text your name, address, and correct answer to 0935-834-9354. And for those who are watching us live on Radyo Natin Facebook page, you can type your name, address, and correct answer on the comment box. Again, for those who are watching us live on Radyo Natin Facebook page, you can write your name, address, and correct answer on the comment box. The first to give the correct answer will receive 50 pesos worth of load.
My dear learners, listen attentively to our discussion so you can give the correct answer. And if you think you already know the answer, feel free to send your answer to our number 0935-834-9354 or type your answer in the comment box if you are watching us live on Facebook.
Our dear learners, lend us your ears and have your mind open to our discussion, so you will not only know the correct answer for our question, but you will also learn how to detect risks online. Before we proceed, let us first hear a short dialogue downloaded from YouTube by Learn English by Pocket Passport. Are you now ready to listen? Excellent!
I just noticed that my phone has a feature that tells me how much screen time I had.
Oh, yes. Mine has that feature too.
What's your average amount per day?
Around 2 hours. How about yours?
Oh, mine was around 7.
No way. Why is it so high?
Well, I often use social media. You know, scrolling through my newsfeed, updating my status, and commenting on photos. Those kinds of things.
I don't use social media much. Why do you use it?
Why? Because everyone does. I have over 1,000 friends online. I can see everyone's photos and upload my own.
Okay, but how do you do that for 7 hours every day?
Well, I need to check how many people have liked my photos.
Okay, but let me ask you something. Why is that important? Do you feel better about yourself when your photos get more likes?
I guess so. Is that a bad thing?
No, not at all. I've just heard about people getting addicted to social media for that reason.
Oh, yes. I've seen that happen, actually. Maybe I am using it too much. Do you think I should take a break from it?
I think that might be a good idea. Just for a couple of days.
From the dialogue that you have heard, did you experience the same thing? Do you use internet too much? How does it feel? How can we avoid such experiences? That, my dear learners, is what we are going to learn for today. Are you excited? Let's go!
Children nowadays are spending more time online than ever before. Around the world, a child goes online for the first time every half second. Growing up online offers limitless opportunities. Through computers, smartphones, gaming consoles, and televisions, children learn, imagine, and develop their social networks. When used in the right way and accessible to all, the internet has the potential to broaden horizons and ignite creativity the world over. But with these opportunities come serious risks. The following are some examples on how to detect these online risks.
Cyberbullying and other forms of peer-to-peer violence can affect young people each time they log in to social media or instant messaging platforms. When browsing the internet, children may be exposed to hate speech and violent content. I repeat, cyberbullying and other forms of peer-to-peer violence can affect young people each time they log into social media or instant messaging platforms.
There are warning signs that can help you identify if a child is being bullied or is a bully. Kids who are bullied may experience a decline in grade or loss of interest in school, changes in eating habits, sudden loss of friends, or self-destructive behaviors. Again, kids who are bullied may experience a decline in grades or loss of interest in school, changes in eating habits, sudden loss of friends, or self-destructive behaviors.
Next is grooming. Grooming is when a person tries to build a trusting relationship with a child or child's family so that they can sexually abuse the child. Children who are being groomed might have unexplained gifts, or groomers might take a special interest in children's families. Once more, grooming is when a person tries to build a trusting relationship with a child or a child's family so that they can sexually abuse the child. Did you understand? Very good!
How will you know if someone is grooming a child? If grooming is happening face to face, the person might buy the child or family treats or gifts. Or the person might give the family and the child compliments and make them feel special. If grooming is happening online, the person might pretend to be a child of the same age or a celebrity. They may use text, instant messaging, online chat, and so on to build a relationship with the child. Again, grooming can happen online or face to face.
Another online risk is radicalization. Radicalization is defined as the process by which people come to support terrorism and extremism, and, in some cases, to then participate in terrorist groups. I repeat, radicalization is defined as the process by which people come to support terrorism and extremism, and, in some cases, to then participate in terrorist groups.
How will you know if a child is facing radicalization? Those closest to the individual may first notice the following changes of behavior: general changes of mood, patterns of behavior, secrecy, changes of friends and mode of dress, use of inappropriate language, possession of violent extremist literature, the expression of extremist views, advocating violent actions and means, association with non-extremists, seeking to recruit others to an extremist ideology. I repeat, general changes of mood, patterns of behavior, secrecy, changes of friends and mode of dress, use of inappropriate language, possession of violent extremist literature, the expression of extremist views, advocating violent actions and means, association with non-extremists, and seeking to recruit others to an extremist ideology. Did you get it? All right.
Then we have exposure to inappropriate material or problematic content. One risk is that a child may be exposed to inappropriate material that is hateful or violent in nature, or encourages activities that are dangerous or illegal. Some content creators use words or expressions that are offensive and not pleasing to the ears. Again, exposure to inappropriate material or problematic content.
How can we tell if a child is exposed to inappropriate material or problematic content? Here are some examples. First, they tend to use their gadgets longer and more often. Second, use of inappropriate language while talking to others. Third, sharing inappropriate content online. And fourth, changes in behavior. I repeat, first, they tend to use their gadgets longer and more often. Second, use of inappropriate language while talking to others. Third, sharing inappropriate contents online. And fourth, change in behavior.
And finally, we have obscenity. What is obscenity? It is a behavior, art, or language that is sexual and offends or shocks people. Some examples of these are shared posts online that contains pornographic images that are inappropriate for children, swear words or languages that are disturbing, and websites that contain nudity, sexual content, and hateful or violent materials. Again, obscenity is a behavior, art, or language that is sexual and offends or shocks people.
What should we do in order to know if a child is facing obscenity? Here are some examples. Phone calls from people you don't know. Your child suddenly turns off his or her phone or computer when you walk into the room. Reluctant to discussion his or her online activities and spending long hours online, especially at night. Once more, phone calls from people you don't know. Your child suddenly turns off his or her phone or computer when you walk into the room. Reluctant to discussion his or her online activities and spending long hours online, especially at night.
And there you have it, our dear learners and listeners. Those are the ways on how to detect risks online like cyberbullying, grooming, radicalization, and problematic contents like violation and obscenity, and how we can avoid and limit this risk. Did you get it? That's great!
As more of our lives and businesses is conducted online, the risk of having our information compromised or used against us increases proportionately. Strengthening online security doesn't mean lowering your risk to zero, but you can plug the main gaps to reduce the large potential issues.
That's true, Ma'am Raquel. In line with this, here are some tips on how to avoid and minimize these risks. Understanding what your children or friends are doing online is the first tip. As a parent, guardian, or friend, you should have an open dialogue about the sites they visit and how they use them. Again, understand what your children and friends are doing online.
The second tip is, encourage your child or friend to talk by asking questions like, "Is anything wrong with you?" Or, "Are you okay?" It is important to establish trust so that they will feel comfortable coming to you if he or she has questions. Once again, encourage them to talk by asking questions.
The third tip is to let your children or friends know the dangers interacting with strangers online. Tell them that people online don't always tell the truth. Never chat with people you don't know and never give information about yourself. Again, let them know the dangers in interacting with strangers online.
As children get older, it gets a little trickier to monitor their time spent online. Thus, spending time online together to teach your kids or friends appropriate online behavior is the fourth tip. Again, spend time online together to teach your kids or friends appropriate online behavior. Understand? Good!
That's correct, Ma'am Raquel. The fifth and the last tip to avoid and limit the risks online is to take the child seriously if he or she reports an uncomfortable online exchange. I repeat, take children seriously if he or she reports an uncomfortable online exchange. Taking an active role in your child's internet activities helps ensure that they benefit from them without being exposed to the potential dangers.
Did you write the 5 tips that were given to you in order to avoid and limit the risk online? Very good! Let's read them again. First, understanding what your children or friends are doing online. Second, encourage them to talk by asking questions. Third, let them know the dangers interacting with strangers online. Fourth, spend time online together with them to teach them appropriate online behaviors. And fifth, take your child seriously if he or she reports an uncomfortable online exchange.
Now, to find out what you have learned, we will have a short activity. Get your pen and paper because you are going to discuss on how to avoid and limit the risks of the following situations online. I repeat, you are going to discuss on how to avoid and limit the risks of the following situations online. Are you ready? Let's begin!
For number 1, someone is pretending to be your friend and trying to chat with you. Once more, someone is pretending to be your friend and trying to chat with you. What will you do?
Number 2. Your friend likes to visit websites that has a picture, videos, and games which shows violence or cruelty to other people and animals. I repeat, your friend likes to visit websites that has picture, videos, and games which shows violence or cruelty to other people and animals. What will you do to help him avoid and limit these online risks?
And for number 3, you have a best friend named Pedro. He told you that someone is using his social media account to spread fear and violence without his knowledge. Once again, you have a best friend named Pedro. He told you that someone is using his social media account to spread fear and violence without his knowledge. How can you help him?
Are you finished answering? That's great. Now let's see if you get the correct answers. For number 1, someone is pretending to be your friend and trying to chat with you. What will you do? Very good! Never chat with people you didn't know and never give information about yourself.
For number 2, your friend likes to visit websites that has a picture, videos, and games which shows violence and cruelty to other people and animals. What will you do to help him avoid and limit these online risks? Correct! As a friend, you should have an open dialogue about the sites they visit and how they use them.
And now, the third and the last number. You have a best friend named Pedro. He told you that someone is using his social media account to spread fear and violence without his knowledge. How can you help him? Excellent! You can help him by encouraging Pedro to talk, get some experts' help, let his parents know about what happened, or tell him not to give any information about himself.
Now, count the number of your correct answers. If you were able to get 3 points, that's great. But if not, don't feel bad because we still have other activity. Just do your best so you can get a higher mark. Do you understand? Alright!
And for your final activity, discuss ways on how to detect risks online like cyberbullying, grooming, radicalization, and problematic contents, for example, violation and obscenity, and how to avoid and limit these risks. Again, for your final activity, discuss ways on how to detect risks online like cyberbullying, grooming, radicalization, and problematic content, for example, violation and obscenity, and how to avoid and limit these risks.
Reminders to our dear learners and listeners. After answering the activity, keep it and wait for your ALS implementer to collect it.
And so, dear learners, this is the end of our insightful discussion for today's topic. But before we end, let us find out first who is the lucky winner of our Tanong Ko, Sagot Mo. Ma'am Raquel, do we have a winner now?
Yes, Sir Art, and our winner is none other than Harold Cipriano from Viga Maripipi, Biliran. Our question is, what do you call a peer-to-peer violence that can affect young people each time they log into social media or instant messaging platforms? And his answer is cyberbullying, and that is correct.
Correct.
You are our lucky winner of 50 pesos worth of load. Just wait for our staff that will contact you to process your prize.
Alright, congratulations again, Mr. Harold. And for those who are not lucky enough to win today, don't be disappointed, for you still have a chance to win on our Tanong Ko, Sagot Mo on our next episode of Als Radyo Eskwela this coming Monday, May 17, 2021 at 11 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning. Again, this is Sir Art Virana, which leave you a message. What happens online reflects the realities children face every day, at home, at school, and in their wider communities. Stay safe, God bless and good morning, Biliran. Happy birthday, Ma'am Jeneline Yurono.
Happy birthday, Ma'am Jeneline. And this is Ma'am Raquel Butasta saying, everything you do now is for your future. Always remember to think before you click. Once again, good morning everyone. Stay home and stay safe.
Ang Dibisyon ng Biliran Alternative Learning System